We'll fight on our own terms. My purpose is to restore the rightful line to the Iron Throne.
All right, so the return after 2 whole years. Now, honestly, I kind of forgot who was on whose side with this war. I didn't rewatch season 2 because I think season 2 sucks. I understand why it sucked with the writer strike and the restrictions that they had, but at the end of the day, if the crops are bad, the meal is going to taste like shit. You can make the excuse of the crops, but whatever you consume, if it still tastes like shit, it's still shit. And this episode starts off with kind of a little bit of a recap on where everybody's at. This was supposed to be the end of season 2, but it wasn't. Instead, it's the beginning of season 3, so I'm going to judge it for what it is. We're getting these little recaps and everything. Now, I'm not saying everything has to be a war. We've been building up, not everything has to be a battle, I should say. We've been building up to this. And there was a part in season 2 where they started off with like, it looks like a fight's going to happen. And then they just cut to a bunch of dead people. And then the rest of the episode was boring. Stuff like that. We can see the aftermath of a war or a battle. And that's okay. It's just once you built up to a certain point, we're kind of wanting to see a battle. And we did see a battle. But first we saw a bunch of this recap. We got a whole lot of dopey face Rhaena. She did play a big part in the end of this episode, which we'll get to here in a bit. But there was also a lot of little lazy writing stuff, like Loras and Aegon in the back of the wagon there. They're going to get out of that situation, but it just, I don't know, there was no slyness to Loras. He's supposed to be like a more sinister Littlefinger or Varys, you can just blend it all together, but he seems a little bit darker the way he killed his family and everything. I don't know. I didn't read the books. I don't know too much about the lore, so I don't know what they've deviated from or any of that. I can only speak to what I'm watching. It just felt really lazy. The entire scene didn't seem too thought out, other than trying to give them some screen time and say, hey, this is where these people are at. Look at this situation that they're going to get out of. It was like a plot device. Now he's going to be captured, so let's establish that real quick. And when Alicent was confronted by Aemond, he's asking, where you been? She's like, I've been in the Godswood. And then that was the end of that. He's like, oh, okay. Even though his brother just disappeared with Loras and she's been gone as well. This is a time of war. Targaryens are kind of crazy to begin with. You'd think he'd be a little bit more suspect of her. And maybe he is. Maybe that's what the kiss was about, which was weird, by the way. Maybe he's testing her like, how far can I get with this? Because I didn't know that he was wanting to fuck his mom in this. I know there's incest with Targaryens, but they normally don't incest up or vertical, I should say. It's more of a brother-sister thing. From what I understand, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But so that was a little bit weird. That was a little uncomfortable. But one thing that I'm actually really starting to like about with the show is because I'm a biased person, so I choose sides. Early on, I chose the Greens because I think this whole fiasco was started by Rhaenyra just being cock happy, like not wanting to be her formal role. She just wanted to go around and fuck a bunch of dudes. And then all this drama started. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. But then when you see how Alicent's betraying her entire family and the realm, essentially, that's pretty snaky. And I don't like that either. But there's people on both sides of the war that you end up liking. Like Daemon's obviously a fan favorite. And plus now that he's got the Starks, so I'm all aboard there. Because I'm House Stark forever. But I also like Aemond on the other side. I like his eye patch. I like the sapphire eye. It's kind of badass, to be honest. So being neutral makes this show a little bit more fun for me. Because I'm not as disappointed if things go a certain way instead of another. It puts me right in the center to where I could just take it all in and just enjoy all the entertainment. One thing I did want to point out real quick, though, is I don't know what they were doing with this Zack Snyder broken lens background blur thing. Once I noticed it early on in the episode, every time that it was used, that close-up with the blurry background, it just stuck out to me. This show has such great set design and scenery. I don't know why they were going for this blurry thing. Hopefully it's just a one-off for this episode. Maybe the director, whoever directed it, was just trying to put his artistic touch on this episode alone. I mean, I'm sure I'll adapt. There's plenty of other things that are good about the series that, like, it's not going to totally ruin anything, but it was a little distracting for me. Also, side note, I'm glad this thing got fucking killed off. The identity politics of casting him to play a woman. Just cast a fucking woman. Get it the fuck out of here. If that offends you, so be it. Get it the fuck out of here. I think a big mistake that they're doing with Rhaenyra this late into the story is I know she's always the victim. Men don't want to be led by women. It's misogynist and all that in this time period. But having her throw these little temper tantrums of stabbing and ripping the dress up and then lines like this.
I may appear to have the weak and feeble body of a woman, but I possess the heart and spirit of a king.
does not help the character at all. And you saw the looks of the whore and the servant. So maybe they're playing into she is just starting to go crazy and she's emotionally unstable. But I think that's a bad creative choice to make her that emotional. I just think it's bad. It actually makes they're trying to avoid making her look dumb by making her look dumb. When you couple it with the decisions she's making, we've already been here. She can't charge out to battle. She's already had to been stopped before or argued with before. And then you top that off with the emotional outburst. I think it's doing more damage than they're intending.
If you die, then you will at last be king.
And I say that because I don't think they intend to make the woman look bad, to be honest. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the battle. I thought it was a pretty good battle. I wouldn't say it's epic. I thought the other one, Beesbrook, I think it was, or something Brook in season 2, I thought was better. But to be fair, like sea battles are pretty tough to pull off. You're gonna have to use a lot of CGI. Not that you don't have to with ground battles, but with all the camera angles that you're having to do, all the swooping around with the dragons, all the fire arrows and the catapults and everything, it's much more difficult to pull off. And the ocean with the waves. You know, I'm not like a harsh critic on stuff like that, but I do take that into account, and I think it was very good. It was pulled off very well. It just wasn't an epic battle for me because it didn't hit like something like a Battle of the Bastards did. There's a lot of flaws in that battle. The more you rewatch it, the more you notice. But still, the gravity of that battle, along like how far you were into the story, it just made it that much more epic with the weight of everything that was on it. So even though this was a grand spectacle visually, it just didn't have that weight to me. I expected the sea snake, I expected him to come out alive. Even though I don't know anything about the lore, I just thought story-wise, at this point, he seemed like he was still a more important character than the man guy woman from YouTube. And I didn't think his son was going to die because they just had that bonding moment. That would have been a total waste. Even though they've already kind of had that moment in the previous season, it was still good. They're patching things up, so now they could just move forward as a team. I had no idea that Jace was going to die. I thought for sure one of them would lose a dragon. You got to start getting rid of some of the dragons by now. By the way, I have to say, this show does a great job of the dragon designs. You can just tell them all apart. They're all individuals, and I think they do a great job. All the dragons look great, but I didn't expect him to die. Like I said, maybe a dragon just to start tipping the scales one way or another, or evening it out, because I'm pretty sure the blacks have more dragons and they might get more from what I try to avoid podcasts and stuff like spoilers. Some podcasts are pretty good about it. It's also difficult, like if you know the lore and then when you're talking about something they changed in the books from the show, to not attach it to a spoiler. Like, oh, this character was supposed to kill the queen and this character's no longer in it, so maybe it's this guy that kills the queen. It's like, oh, so the queen gets killed? So anyway, I didn't expect him to die. The way he went out, that arrow, once he got the arrow in the back, and then there was that pause when he turns around and the guy's staring at him, and then I didn't expect that at all. Even with him floating around in the water, I just thought, oh, there goes that dragon, because I was expecting a dragon to go. I didn't expect him to go as well. And I gotta say, this dragon save was fucking epic. That was sick. And it's all because of this fucking dopey face stupid fuck. I get it, she wants her dragon, she's an outcast or whatever, but she like wasn't she supposed to be watching over some kids in the last season, and she abandoned them to get this dragon? She just got on this dragon, she was struggling to control it, and then she decides to fly into battle. Now I don't know if this is going to create a rift between the sisters, or is she going to defect to the other side because she's going to be an outcast now? I doubt they're going to take her head. That could be why they were giving her so much screen time. Nah, they're not killing this dopey face. They'll probably just layer it up. There'll be internal drama, little riffs, some bickering. All in all, it was a good episode. There was the lazy parts that I said. There were some irritating parts. The battle wasn't great. I mean, what do you expect from a first episode? And also because I know that that was supposed to be the end of season 2. So I'm giving a little bit of leeway there. And I don't expect it all to always be battles. But I mean, how much build up can we get to before we just start fucking concluding things? And they're supposed to be doing one more season. I don't mean concluding story. I'm just like concluding areas, sections. This person conquers that, and now they have control of that, or this ally got killed and that hurts. Just some kind of conclusions. I guess I'd say as of right now, I'm still very interested in the show. Game of Thrones season 1 through 4 was my Star Wars, was my Lord of the Rings. I'm very interested in this universe. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms was great. After we just saw that great season 1 of that, how good that was, I don't want to judge this unfairly. And I'm also attaching it to season 2. Like, I really did not like season 2. So I'm going to try to be fair. And honestly, as of right now, I'm still very interested in the show and see where it goes. But those are my thoughts. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And thanks for stopping by.